What's up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. Hope all is well and appreciate all that hit the like button. Let's get right into it. For anybody that just got into XRP in the last 2 or 3 months, you are going to want to watch all of this one. I want to show some helpful tools like XRP Explorer. I also want to show some beginner tips at the end of this video to keep expectations in check and potentially protect yourself as well. And then most importantly, drum roll please, I will be showing later in this video the most controversial, most loved, most hated document in the XRP community. Now, I know this is from September 2017, Blockchain Technology Adoption, Everest, an NTT data company. Last time I checked, they were anywhere from the 4th or 6th largest IT firm in the world, and I know the XRP community YouTube police will come after me for sharing this, so I'll try to give a disclaimer. I know that many things change, going into market, joint ventures, vested interests, they always evolve, strategies evolve. So I know this is more so just a loose type of, potential outcome in the future, but nonetheless, this is exciting. So I want to paint a picture, kind of go through this briefly. I know many people have seen this, but it also goes hand in hand with some recent developments that NTT Data has made with a company that Ripple has invested into as well. So without further ado, let's get into the information. So right here, guys, on XRP Explorer, we can see a current balance of, with this wallet that we have, we can see the wallet, username's not registered, but then we also see SBIVC.co right here. We have 218 million XRP in this wallet balance. Very interesting. We can see the current value per XRP is approximately $107 million. Absolutely insane. And this actual document was shared to me originally by XRP for the win, so thank you, sir. And we can see right here, $103.4 million worth of XRP moved by SBIVC trade. What does this mean? So this is merely speculation. We can, watch the whale alerts you see when huge amounts of money are on the move, and we can speculate. Some people, they'll say, oh no, there's going to be a dump, Jed is dumping his bags or whatever, but I know this is not Jed's wallet address. Or people will say we're in for a pump. Nonetheless, I sit back, I watch, and I observe, because I do not care what price does short term. As a long-term investor, we know what is coming regardless. We know how this game ends, and it ends on the moon. All right, so you can talk about this. Of course, we can speculate with SBIVC originally starting with Bitcoin, but now allowing users to borrow funds in XRP and Ethereum. SBI is one of the biggest leaders for XRP and overall adoption, specifically in Japan. There is no questioning that. I don't know how anybody can, still even, question that, to be honest. All right, so XRP Explorer, you guys can get additional information, the wallet balance, the hashes, the destination tags. You can do the same thing here and enter any address and try to see, the balance. You can do a hardware login, just a little tool if you guys ever want to utilize it and play with that. Next up, so we have Val5 links. Michael, thank you for sharing this. We have the crypto startup Lumi is making it possible for anyone who uses Apple Pay to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a long list of altcoins. This is what I like to call lowering the barrier to entry. Of course, we see all these articles about institutions buying Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, it's getting attention. It's, the asset class is growing and it's going to fluctuate on the way, but we're lowering the barriers to entry. All right. And I actually want to talk about that in Coinbase specifically at the end of this video for newcomers. So notice this startup Lumi is making it possible for anyone who uses Apple Pay to buy crypto essentially. And it's a new feature in Lumi's iOS wallet and allows traders to buy crypto assets through Apple's popular payment service. Now, let's see if we see the one that shall not be named in this list. I do not. Do you see XRP? Interesting. Vested interests. All right. So we'll keep going here and keep an eye on obviously Apple Pay. We know we've seen time and time again, ILP, literally integrations with Apple Pay, Alipay. What was it? Was it a World Bank on the Interledger stack, that one picture that one time in the code? So should not be surprised one bit. Next, shared by Mbiagi, guys, so another development regarding, of course, Onyx, which is kind of their new blockchain unit, which we talked about maybe, a couple months back. So we have JP Morgan to roll out commercial blockchain product for the repo market. As we can see on Finextra, they've completed a live blockchain-based intraday repo transaction using an in-house developed app, which supported instantaneous settlements and maturity of the transaction in hours rather than days. Now, I understand this has nothing to do with XRP directly, but I want to show you additional building that is happening with DLT. And what I like is, I know we say, infrastructure, it is like the backbone of everything. Well, I like what, let's see, Christine Moy says, and she essentially quotes it, calling it foundational technology. Right here. So she led the work from the Onyx team and says, JP Morgan's intraday repo app demonstrates how leveraging foundational technology built by Onyx enables new capabilities like the digital representation of securities ownership. We see that time and time again, such as with Securitize, and we'll talk about them again briefly. We can see supports unique functionality like atomic trade settlement, accelerates time to market, very important, just like when RippleNet is now RippleNet Cloud. We can get, into market within 8 weeks, I believe, which is massive, and eases effort required to get to production. Let's see, BNY Mellon, that's RippleNet, trades with Goldman Sachs. Many Ripple clients are obviously backed by Goldman Sachs. Their hand is in everybody's cookie jar. But we're just going to keep an eye on this, watch the developments. We can see an exciting project which vividly highlights where enterprise blockchain can address a real-world problem in the financial system, and we look forward to going live in early 2021. Now, if you watched my previous video, Brian Brooks said, crypto and blockchain are one of the same, and you have huge entities saying, oh, we see value in the technology but not in the crypto assets. That is a lie. Why are they working on tokenization? Why did R3 put out that article a year or two ago about asset fractionalization, all the benefits, about liquidity? I mean, look, that's even a concern for them. Liquidity is a massive concern for all these banks. Remember JP Morgan, included with HSBC and Citi. If you watched my previous video, I hope you did, talking about those three banks being the three banks that 80% of all cross-border payment flows goes through. That is absolutely insane. That is not future-proofing whatsoever. You are trusting those three banks, and I believe that Ripple, amongst other groups, are finally going to level the playing field, so it's going to be a lot more distributed. All right? We're living in crazy times. Look at this. Even on the ads on the side of this video, we got Stripe, of course, huge valuation. You can see Bank of England, they're a paid RippleNet client, even ILP trials. TransferWise, very interesting. Transfer Go. There's a few other ones. We'll keep an eye on it nonetheless. All right. So anyways, let's get to the next point. Right here, Mbiagi once more. So we have NTT Data partners with Securitize for security token platforms. Ledger Insights. Remember, Coinbase, Ripple invested into Securitize. Securitize is definitely interesting, alongside even those little demos with Tezos. So we can see this just happened 3 days ago, partnering with NTT Data to develop a compliant security token platform for the Japanese market. Japan is always on the ball, always working hard. We can see NTT Data has been part of some high-profile blockchain projects. In Italy, it was the implementation partner with Italian Interbank Reconciliation. This is not settlement. Relax, people. Has nothing to do with XRP. Project Spunta, which has more than 100 banks and is in full production. However, when they go to settlements and they announce their settlement mechanism, I am paying very close attention. All right, I don't want to over-speculate. I get it, but nonetheless, I'm excited. And yes, I covered this. Why? Because this is still DLT adoption by some huge players. We have, what did they say? 100 banks, more than. We already know that R3 specifically, or I should say, the group in Italy, they already announced that they're working with. They said we're working with the big DLT players, Ripple and R3. And SBI is a big shareholder in both of those groups. So whether Ripple's just the low value and high volume, that's all good for me. That is still great for XRP, phenomenal. And then R3 is the capital markets, which we'll go over, all good and great. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this. Of course, we can see other investments, of course, MUFG, RippleNet. We've talked about, I see 6 other firms. I'm thinking of SIX, the Swiss exchange as well, that listed XRP. Just a bunch of developments across the board. We're going to keep an eye on them. I haven't read about real estate token platforms. This is going to be the future, guys. You are going to be able to have real estate portfolios and buy portions of units or properties, and everything will be able to fractionalize easier. If you can't afford, a couple $100,000 for a Berkshire Hathaway stock, you can sure buy, $200 of it. It's going to level the playing field in a big way, and this is the future. And the only question is when, not if. All right, so let's get into the controversial stuff. So this blockchain technology adoption roadmap, maybe dream scenario 2017. Links are in the top of this video description if you guys want to save it. And we can just go through this briefly. So we have index, adoption of distributed ledger technology in the financial sector. Payment settlement, present and future. So let's see where we were. So from the Internet of Information, we have, of course, the protocols Apple's founded. We have the World Wide Web. Remember, Interledger Protocol by Ripple was gifted to the World Wide Web Consortium. Yeah. All right. Amazon founded. Rakuten. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Tencent. We can talk about Baidu, all them backing as well with IDG Capital, Ripple investors initially. But yep, we're all just crazy. there's no vested interests, even though they all back with millions of dollars, and success of Ripple would be success for a lot of ecosystems. All right. So we talk about the internet of information and, internet of data. We can send email. We can send pictures to my friend in China instantly. It's cheap. It's fast. Well, why can't we do that with value? The fastest way for me to send a $5 US bill to somebody would actually be by plane rather than, getting it to them. And if I did get it to them in 2 to 3 or even 6 days over the Swift network, it would be eaten up by fees and go through, 8 different intermediaries, middlemen that are just parasites. DLT reduces the number of middlemen. All right. So no more 14 little steps to get through. Or if you guys are a realtor, you know how many steps it has to go through to finalize a property and how many fees and taxes are coming through each and everything. Imagine with smart contracts, true automation, creating if and then statements via code that it will take out the right fees and distribute it all at the same time. That is the future we're going towards. Eventually, payroll, instead of every 2 weeks or paid, once a week, it's going to be every single day. And then eventually, pay as you go. As I say, streaming of payments. Netflix, $10 a month, $30 a month. No, you're just going to pay for what you use. Car insurance, you're going to have a tracker in your car. If you drive a lot, maybe you pay more insurance. If you drive in a dangerous area, maybe you pay a higher rate. Maybe if you roll through stop signs, you pay a higher rate. If you are a very conservative driver, good vehicle, you're slow, you pay a lower rate. You pay as you go. This is the future that I see with smart cities, the grids. You can see cryptos like Hedera, HBAR, I should say, and King Solomon found some really cool stuff with smart cities and grids. I do not know what to tell someone that does not believe in the potential of crypto assets. And that is why I'm so excited. And I mean, if you guys are excited from watching XRP go to 12 cents to 92 cents, pretty quickly and then correct back to 50 cents, yeah, that's all good and great. But I'm not here for, these little 100% moves. And I mean, it's all good and great. And yes, I've made a lot of money and I'm happy, but I'm wholeheartedly expecting, dozens of millions of dollars in the future because of this transfer that is measured in the trillions of dollars. We have DTCC listed on this document, and literally one of the biggest organizations in the world, the Fed, before the Fed, and his name was Don Donahue. He left and they process over $1 quadrillion with a Q, and I know it sounds like a made up number, per year. And he was the former president of that group, and then he was named chairman of the Global Payment Steering Group. Who's that? That's called RippleNet. That's right. You guys can go check this out if you're new. This is all true, and that's why most of us in the XRP community are complete nut jobs, because we see all of this happening. And XRP is still the black sheep of crypto because it works within this system rather than just trying to be an anarchist. All right? So, blockchain, DLT, adoption, maturity, enterprise level platforms, use cases. So we can see cross-border payments. We have Ripple the company. Demand for faster, more cost-efficient international payments. That is kind of where they're, aiming to solve and remediate. All right. Now, capital markets is tons of cash flow. We're talking trillions and trillions and trillions. Post trades, reconciliation, blah 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 blah. And then trade finance also, excites me. We have groups like R3 with Corda, and yes, I know they have named XRP as one of the settlement mechanisms, but they're largely agnostic. All right, just like Interledger Protocol being a protocol that's agnostic, just like Chainlink or Quant being agnostic cryptos that don't have to exist on Ethereums, but they can be versatile and exist on a variety of platforms. So go through this. I know you guys have seen this IOP stack, talked about this, value at the backbone under all of it, just like that Nacha Alliance document showing Bank of America up top, and then showing literally XRP Ledger settlements at the bottom, or Ripple at the bottom, I should say. All right, Hyperledger members, don't even get me started on these guys. Please just go through CME Group, a big investor of Ripple early on. Wells Fargo reminds me of, if you watched my previous video of Ashish Burla, remember in 2018, 2019, he's GM of RippleNet. He said that, yeah, we have 50% of India, the entire country, in our pipeline. And once we get that going, we're going to go back to Wells Fargo and say there's no cheaper way to send money into India but through Ripple. It's just a game of chess, all right? We have BNP Paribas. We have a lot of indirect partnerships there. BNY Mellon, RippleNet, SAP has helped. And there's the DTCC, as I mentioned earlier. CLS guys and continuous link settlement, they can literally go through and they're integrated with Finastra, and they can go through and Finastra's RippleNet integrated. So it's all just single, API plugins. The sky is the limit, all right? I'm sure you've heard of Swift, SAP, Cisco, IBM. So on and on and on. BBVAs we cover, American Express. They have a lot of JVs with Lian in China. They're all connected, all right? Payment settlement present and future. So we have local payment rails, we have real-time gross settlement systems. So we have, Japan, European Union, throughout the UK, China, the United States, etc. FPS right here, we've already seen that with like Volante, which is a tech provider in the United States for the domestic system, the clearinghouse, and also is integrated with them and the Ripple module. We have CLS, correspondent banks. I mean, just go through, read all this, slowly, surely. The demand for liquidity has never been greater. And that is the thing about XRP. It is utilizing digital assets for on-demand liquidity. That's the use case they're going after. Interledger protocol, yeah, that can be an agnostic protocol to bridge all of these ledgers and keep, the glue between all these transactions, these databases, and then we could use maybe QNT, Quant, over ledger as the operating system to allow the legacy networks and the DLT networks to all communicate. All right. Well, ILP, like the operating system and kind of the glue for the system. All right. Cross-border real-time gross settlement. So we have the XRP ledger at the center of it all. We have Bank of Japan, Target 2. We talked about it. Remember Task Group. And what did they say? Task Group. And they showed a Ripple. Let me just pull it up real quick. Let me type. I gotta move my microphone. Task Group. And I'll just show you this if you guys have time. So we'll go right here. Task plus Ripple. This is an old document, maybe 2015, I believe, if memory serves correctly. Yep, 2015. Boom. Look at that. We can see Task Group. And their logo is the owl, and then right here at the heart of the European Target 2 system, showing Ripple all along. Whoa. All right. No surprise. So where are we? Trying to remember. Lost my track. All right. Well, anyways, we'll keep going. ILP, XRP ledger at the center, and then all the good stuff essentially, showing a global decentralized real-time gross settlement system with global liquidity, market makers that are incentivized. And this is literally like the dream scenario for the XRP ledger. Now, if we get just a fraction of what we're aiming, it's still going to melt faces, and I'm going to be so happy. But yeah, we should, not be afraid to show this, but also, yeah, keep your, excitement in check. And just understand things change. There could be competitors, but until I see so many silly articles, XRP killer. Unless it does like all of those 7 to 10 bullet points that even like Galgatron put out and a lot of people shared, and it actually reduces pre-funded accounts. It, solves the issue of counterparty risk. It is cheap. It is efficient. It's more distributed or decentralized. It just can't compete. All right. And that is just the honest truth. Now, platforms. This is where I get really excited with Interledger Protocol and just bridging all of these platforms. We talk about smart cities. We talk about the Mobi, the network that Ripple's a part of with Ford, GM, BMW. I was blanking on it. All of these groups, all these initiatives. We're talking about vehicles, smart cities, Internet of Things, payments, automation. It's just very, very exciting. And I encourage you guys to keep doing your own research. And doing your own research is not watching a video. It is watching a video and then diving deep and coming to your own conclusions and, finding out what is the truth. All right. So just wanted to share that. Links are in the video description. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show you. Yep. So right here, XRP Crypto Wolf sharing this, and I'll just touch on this lightly on CoinDesk. Essentially, cryptocurrency remittances prove their worth in Latin America. Remember, Brazil, RippleNet partner, one of the BRICS nations, is central to their on-demand liquidity strategy of Ripple. We can see Western Union recently announced it would be suspending US dollar transfers to Cuba due to sanctions from the United States. This may only increase the attractiveness of sending remittances with cryptocurrency. It makes me think of, countries like Venezuela as well. All right. So very, exciting. It's intense. It's nail biting. There's just plenty and plenty happening. Understand that XRP is already live in Mexican peso and US dollar, the largest remittance corridor in the world. You cannot make this up. Yet people, see XRP pull back to 50 cents or 20 cents and they call it a scam. No, do you know how volatile any of these assets are going to be until there's regulation, until there's high enough liquidity where it is less volatile and grows over time? It's going to take time. And it may happen when we least expect it, just like that term in economics that I share of Christine Lagarde. All right. Also, I love this. Andrew Zell, Swift is a postcard. Remember, it's just kind of messaging. ODL, on-demand liquidity, XRP is an email. Much faster, time to update the system. Right here. So I did want to touch on this. So crypto bank Signum tokenizes shares as well. Remember, Signum, a digital asset finance firm with a Swiss banking license, has tokenized its shares on its own DLT or distributed ledger platform as it develops plans for a public offering. Time and time again, we are seeing this across the board. Yes, they listed XRP. We talk about Signum. We can talk about Six. We can talk about SBI. These joint ventures occurring across the board. And believe it or not, Ripple is involved. XRP is involved. All right. Next, quite obvious, but Ethereum options trade volume surged in November to hit 1.76 billion for 1 month. Well, we have to think about Ethereum. There's tons of, Tether artificially propping this market up. There was this DeFi bubble, which is all good and great. And I like bubbles. They're natural. And I'm so excited for this bubble to come in tandem with utility. And then we go to the moon. But ideally, this should be no surprise. We saw Ethereum climb well over $600 quickly when it was sitting at even the $400 range. So yes, I would expect these numbers to increase as well. All right. And then last but not least, we'll just finish it up with this. So we have Scott, only here for Crypto Martin. And just a few tips, and I wanted to share this. So all credit goes to Scott here. I just wanted to repeat it. The big three for me, still unmastered. Number one, do not jump into a pump. Do not jump into prices when they are going up. When you see XRP is up 30% on the day, I don't jump into that. I mean, unless you've never owned any. I guess it's easier for me to sit on a pedestal when we've been buying it for a while. But typically, they will retrace. Coming up 50% on a day is, until utility comes, it's still highly volatile. The price can do anything. So I would just not put all your eggs into one basket or one buy at a single time. It could work out, but for me, that is just not my personal choice. Number two, cost average or dollar cost average instead of dumping a purchase all in at once. How would you feel if you had, $10,000, you finally bought XRP, it's at 50 cents, and it went down to 30 cents? You definitely could have had a better position if you just took your time and did a dollar cost average. Now, I understand the sentiment where if it just moves tomorrow, you missed out. I get it. But overall in this market, dollar cost averaging has usually outperformed the majority of short-term traders. So dollar cost average, let's use a conservative amount. Let's say you have, $100 every week to invest in a crypto. That means every week, you can just buy $100 of your favorite crypto or whatever crypto you're accumulating at that time. And whatever price it is, you're buying it. So maybe 1 week it's at 50 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, goes back to 30 cents, and you're averaging. And it is overall a pretty solid method of accumulating as a long-term holder in this emerging asset class. All right, now, I'm sure a lot of newcomers probably just use Coinbase, the exchange, of course, because it has a very simple user interface, user design. However, I'm sure you're also aware it's the most expensive. It's, easy. It's an easy on-ramp for anybody to use. You download the app and use it, but it's the most expensive. Now, if you use other exchanges, you can definitely save costs. Or if you just go to Coinbase Pro, their exchange, there's less of a spread. There's a smaller fee, just a tad. Same concept. I prefer Binance.us. I prefer Kraken. Links are in the video description just because there's ways you can get around the heavy several dollar fees or even several percent fees. Whether you do an ACH purchase or a debit card purchase, to me, every single dollar counts because it's my money. So I'd imagine it's going to be the same for you. All right, number three, and this is most important. Do not invest money you need to see again anytime soon or you're going to have a bad time. And that is so true. You're going to be emotionally invested. You're going to be biting your fingernails. If you needed money for Christmas, don't throw it in right now. That's gambling. If you're here willing to set and forget, yes, I'm extremely confident in this market, but these swings up until that point, your guess is as good as mine. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, hopefully I didn't keep this too dragged out, but this article or this document, the PDF, will be in the top of the video description. Still, take it with a grain of salt. And remember, I'm not telling you this is exactly how it will be. I'm showing you that this was a roadmap made in 2017 that is very exciting, showing ILP and the XRP ledger at the center of a decentralized global real-time gross settlement system. Very exciting. And yes, the issue of liquidity is a very, very real thing. And I've never been more excited in this ecosystem. Whether you're looking at price, I'm looking at the developments of the company Ripple and even just all of the developments of the XRP ledger alone. And I do not see a stronger team. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.